I'm Gren Manuel, and I'm here at Davos with Dr. Babatunde Osotimehein, who's head of the United Nations Population Fund. Now, one of the priorities for the fund in 2013 is the issue of gender imbalance. Now, Mother Nature, if left to her own devices, will engineer it so that 106, maybe 104 boys are born for every 100 girls. But in some parts of the world, the situation is very different. Dr. Osotimehein, tell me about the problem and how it occurs.
Well, what happens in the places where this is common is that we're using modern technologies now to do pre-birth sex selection, and then we're actually inducing abortion in those circumstances to get rid of female fetuses, which is not acceptable.
I mean, I saw you have some figures even which show how many girls the world is effectively missing. Is that right?
Yeah, there are a huge number. Millions of them, and I think that the last count, we're talking about like 10 million girls or more that we are missing, and that's a major issue.
Now, the cost of medical technology to do a scan or something like that is falling. Does this mean that the problem potentially is getting worse?
Potentially, we can see more of this, and what in fact we have seen in some countries is that the middle class, who can afford it, are the ones who are perpetuating it.
Now that's interesting, because normally this kind of attitude, which is a bias towards male children, is seen as because of, in the developing world, it's important to have sons. I mean, why in places with an enlarging middle class like India, I mean, how does this still happen?
I think it's just a throwback to the culture and the fact that people prefer males, and it's the status of women. It speaks to the status of women around the world. And I mean, of course, what has happened in India recently just confirms that we have an issue to deal with the status of women.
And what are the practical issues in society that are thrown up if you have an extreme gender imbalance? Because your own statistics show that there are some parts of the world where there are 130 boys, say, for every 100 women. That's a huge imbalance.
Yeah. The boys will not even get women to marry after some time. And I think that there are roles within society for women which will just suffer. I can almost immediately respond to the issue of even small-scale agriculture, which is a women-dominated industry. If we don't have the women there, then we lose out on those things.
Okay, but there are some parts of the world where this has been an issue and it has disappeared. Tell me about that.
South Korea is come in one generation from male preference to gender neutrality. And I think that we should use South Korea as an example to talk to these other countries that are still in the middle of transition.
Okay. Dr. Osotimehein, thanks very much.